So a question I had going into this whole thing is, what did Daequan do before Twitch? Before he joined TSM or even discovered competitive gaming, Daequan was just a normal kid from Florida. He was born on May 12th, 1994, making him 24 years old. He had an older brother, which was the person that got him into gaming. They were extremely competitive and went back and forth in whatever games they played, each brother wanting to beat each other. In high school, Daequan had a passion for basketball. He competed on a high school basketball team for a couple years until one day, one of his best friends got into an altercation with a player on the other team. And well, Daequan stood by his friend, which got him kicked off the team. However, he continued to play basketball outside of school in IM leagues and ended up winning a Florida State championship in 2012, which is a nice redemption story in my opinion.
When I was little, I liked a lot of video games. My brother was the one that got me into video games. He was always playing like Final Fantasy, Crash Bandicoot. We used to compete in Super Mario, take turns on Crash Bandicoot, at Crash Team Racing, Mega Man, all kinds of games. And we would always compete, like even if it was a single player game, we'd see who could beat this the fastest. I got kicked off the basketball team my senior year, and you know, that was a low blow. One of my friends got into an altercation. I was running down court for a fast break, and I see him, like, they start getting into a little brawl. So, you know, of course, that's my best friend. I'm not just gonna stand there and watch him get jumped by a whole team. So of course I'm gonna go help, you know. We got classified as uncoachable, quote unquote. Pretty much all of like our scholarships and stuff kind of went out the window, I'm pretty sure. You know, that AAU league, that was a real blessing. I met some amazing people, and we went on to win the Florida State championship. It was a very big accomplishment for me, especially after such a low blow, you know.
The next thing I wondered was his come up. How did he become the person he is today? Well, Daequan's roots in competitive gaming lies in online MMOs. He said to his viewers on Twitch streams that he used to win tons of tournaments on them. He'd grind PvP leaderboards, and if he wasn't placing first in tourneys, he was placing top 5 at all times. Before Fortnite, his favorite competitive game of all time was a game called Guns the Duel. Because the skill gap on the game was so high, he said that if you didn't grind the game every single day for around a year and a half, you'd get demolished. He also enjoyed Destiny, Black Desert Online, WildStar, and Smite. He also spent a ton of time on H1Z1 before Fortnite. Real quick, I have a challenge for you guys. You have 5 seconds to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you complete this challenge, you'll get tons of good luck for the next month. Trust me, it works. Just try it. Now check out this clip.
I never really played like the really big games. Like I never really was into Call of Duty. I was an MMO player. I was a fighting game player. I played a game called Guns the Duel, which was my absolute favorite game I ever played. The reason for that is because the skill cap was so high. Like if you didn't play for like a year and a half, like all day, you were just gonna get destroyed by people. And I won a lot of tournaments on online MMOs, and I was always competing to be like #1 on the PvP leaderboards, or a lot of the times I was #1. If I wasn't #1, I was top 5.
After high school, Daequan decided that he was going to be a professional streamer and told his parents about his plan. He invested in a $2,700 PC and got to work. His parents were supportive for the most part, which is great. Just a few months after this, Fortnite Battle Royale was released. He and his friends were some of the first great players to hop on the game early, which was a big factor in his success now.
Hey, brother. Like, what are you talking about?
Easy, baby. Oh, God. Well,
Nice knowing you, brother.
One day when he was streaming, he ended up in Dakota's squad in a Fortnite match. Dakota's is a content creator in the gaming scene and was at the time and still is doing very well. After they played the match, Dakota's friended Daequan. They kept playing with each other and completely destroyed most of the people they'd face, gaining Daequan some notoriety. People began to tune into the stream because of this, and this was sort of a turning point for Daequan. Daequan's stream grind finally started to pay off. Esports and TSM. After getting to know Dakota's invited Daequan to a Fortnite Invitational, which was one of the earliest Fortnite tournaments ever. Luckily for Daequan, it was a tournament full with only YouTubers and other influencers, obviously putting Daequan in a spotlight. He won 5 games in that tournament. A couple months down the road, another popular streamer known as Myth got invited to join TSM, aka Team Solo Mid, as their Fortnite team captain. When Myth got picked up, he suggested that they recruit Daequan shortly after. Once signed to TSM, Daequan got an opportunity to move into the team house with Myth and Hamlins, where they would stream, compete professionally, and just hang out. Definitely the opportunity of a lifetime, and it's a really good thing Daequan's parents were so supportive of his gaming ventures, because had they not stood by him, he may not have been able to achieve this crazy milestone. Next is Playstyle. Daequan is a really aggressive player. Even for a pro player, Daequan definitely has an up-in-your-face sort of playstyle. He's notorious for being the deadliest player with a shotgun as well. Most of this being due to the fact that he's just so accurate. His flick shot is truly unmatchable, and before shotguns became the main focus of Fortnite's nerfs over the last few months, he was nearly untouchable with a pump in his hands. Check out this clip with him killing a team of 34 players in the old 50 vs 50 limited time mode.
get out my face! Team! Team!
You're doo-doo. Please. Bro, we f***ing survived that shit, bro. Holy shit.
So as you can see, with a shotgun in his hands, Daequan is basically unstoppable. So when they began nerfing the shotguns, and more specifically when they nerfed the double pump shotgun technique, check out how he reacted.
Being on double pump nerf, I think they're dumb for listening to like Reddit scrubs and people that don't know how to build, but it is what it is. I don't give a shit. It's not gonna affect me, bro. And I think they're dumb for listening to people that don't know how to play the game. It doesn't really matter, because you can still do everything. I played that as if my double pump wouldn't work.
But as you can see, whenever they decided to nerf the shotguns, he always finds a workaround it. Just watch this clip.
I mean, you can still double pump, just as long as you can hit your shots, you're fine.
What do you mean?
Double pump nerf.
But even though he's all about gun skill and getting in your face with a shotgun, he can also hang in a build fight very well. Check this out.
My high ground, boy.
Woo!
My high ground, boy. You not taking it. What do you mean?
You can't take it from me, baby. I'm telling you, man. You don't have to calm down.
That's what I thought, boy.
Come here, boy!
What? So now you know how he plays, but what does his loadout look like? Obviously, a shotgun is very necessary for Daequan's loadout, but recently with the changes to the meta, he's really taking a liking to the shotgun slash SMG based loadout. More basically, a gold heavy shotgun with a Tommy gun right after it in his inventory, so he can shoot the enemy with the heavy shotgun and then switch to his Tommy gun to clean up the kill.
Come here, boy!
His new loadout does have some wiggle room though, but usually he'll always carry a shotgun and an SMG and an AR, as well as 2 shields or maybe a utility like an impulse grenade. The reason why he prefers to carry shields over medkits or bandages is because if you're a good player, you aren't going to be taking more than 100 damage often. And if you have 100 health and 100 shield, your shield's going to get damaged before your health. So if you carry a lot of shields and you just keep using minis or 50 pots, you can essentially keep healing and never need medkits or bandages, saving your inventory space. The reason why he'd carry an impulse grenade is simply to close the distance between him and an enemy. As you've seen before, he's a very aggressive player and probably the best player to ever touch a shotgun in Fortnite. So if he's in a fight against players with ARs up in a base or something of that nature, that impulse grenade can be used to get him to the high ground or just to get him in their face unexpectedly.
I'm coming, brother. Let's go, baby.
You'll almost never see Daequan rock a sniper rifle, but once in a while, he'll use a hand cannon or another powerful distance-based weapon.
Oh. Let's go, baby. The shots aren't even registering. Some of them are.
Daequan doesn't really get too picky with ARs. You'll usually see him rocking a single shot AR because he doesn't like the burst as much, similar to Myth. Obviously, he prefers a gold scar over a gray AR, but mostly relies on shotguns and other close range weapons. If we're talking splodes, he prefers to use the RPG just because it's a lot easier to be aggressive with. Since with a grenade launcher, you have to strategically predict where the grenades will bounce, and it's just harder to be accurate with, the RPG just fits his playstyle a lot better. He can simply build up above an enemy, point and shoot, and he knows exactly where the rocket is going to hit.
Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
Before we talk about Daequan's thoughts on the recent buff to the supply drops, the next thing I learned is Daequan's personal records, and he has a lot of very impressive personal records. Daequan's current personal record for solo squads is 27 kills. If you don't know what solo squads is, it's basically where a player queues into squad games alone, so essentially it's one player versus teams of 4. Check out this clip of his best game ever.
Boy, stop. SMG, baby.
He's also had a 50 kill squad game with Noah J, AVXRY, and Svenos.
Oh, I see him. Oh, south of me.
Moved right at the last second.
Nice. Oh, bro.
Let's go!
I'm happy. I'm dead inside.
The young 50 bomb. I like it.
Hey, the 50 kills, baby.
Which at the time tied the world record for the most amount of kills in a game of squads. He's also had a 50 kill game in one of the old Teams of 50 limited time only modes. No! What do you mean?
Easy dubs. Let's go, baby.
No! So as you can see, Daequan is an insane player in his own right. Even though he plays the game a different way than most pros, he has an impressive list of personal records. So what did I learn from him playing his 1,000 games? Next on the list is Daequan's tricks. After watching Daequan play 1,000 games, these tricks have made the biggest impact on my game. Keep in mind these tips mainly apply to super aggressive players, but there are some things that can apply to everyone regardless of your playstyle. The first trick I picked up on while watching Daequan is to always carry shields over meds. The reason for that is that when you have a shield, it gets depleted before your actual health, so essentially if you just carry shields, you'll always stay above 100 HP no matter what and save some inventory slots. It's also a lot more advantageous of a player to go after supply drops now that they've been buffed. All supply drops now drop one weapon and are more likely to drop a lot of shields and usable items such as a cozy campfire. They're far less likely to give you something you don't want, such as a clinger grenade, so now that they've been buffed, they're basically legendary supply drops. Another thing I learned is that you need to master shotguns. Shotguns can do a ton of damage when they're up close with an enemy. Even after all the recent patches, you can still lay one good shot at an enemy with a shotgun up close and switch to an SMG, and that enemy is absolute toast in just a couple shots. One aspect of the shotguns that can really improve how good you are at Fortnite, regardless of what system you play on, is flick shotting. Essentially just being able to hop over a wall and do a 180 and hit an enemy. If you can start hitting really difficult shots and quick shots during build fights, you'll be able to be way more aggressive in general. The quicker and the more accurate you are with any shotgun, the more dangerous you'll be. Also, know what works best for you. Obviously, Daequan's playstyle really is one of a kind. He knows what he's comfortable with and what he isn't. Instead of forcing himself to get good with things that he's not good at all, he sort of focuses on the best aspects of his game. The shotguns are a great example. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, he isn't the best sniper, so he doesn't bother with it. He fills the role as an aggressor. And if there's a bunch of distance between him and an enemy, he uses a combination of utilities, building methods, and just in general gameplay knowledge to close the gap and get in their face. So yeah, that is basically everything I learned from watching him play 1,000 games of Fortnite. Let me know in the comments who I should cover next. It's been Exility. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have an amazing day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Oh yeah, and subscribe as well, please. I'd appreciate it. We almost have 2 million subscribers. I'm so excited for that.